What up? This is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment. I'm here with the new documentary School Life opening in theaters September 8th, and I'm here with the directors behind this wonderful documentary, Neasa and David. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good. Let me start with you, David. Why, for this documentary, did you decide on focusing on these two individuals, John and Amanda?
Well, we were making a film about a boarding school, obviously, and we spent a year researching in the school, meeting the parents, meeting the teachers, meeting the children. And John and Amanda were always a little bit elusive. They kept to themselves. They didn't seem interested in the idea of a film. And it took about 7 or 8 months when we finally had a chance to break through and we spent a lot of time with them, had cups of tea with them, chatted to them, and finally they said, you know what, I think a film is a good idea. And we knew right from the beginning that they were going to be interesting characters. They were the kind of people who were so committed to the children, so committed to what they did, and also quirky and unusual, a little bit eccentric.
And also in our research process, we spoke to a lot of alumni from Headfort, so 50-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and asked them about what their experience had been like in the school, and they were the names that kept coming up, John and Amanda Leyden. So we knew that they had left their mark on many generations before that, so that's why we were interested in seeing what their lives in the school were like at that time.
Fantastic. My second question is, I noticed that this documentary is rather unorthodox. I mean, other documentaries would have talking heads or maybe animated illustrations of a segment, some sort. But this is basically you're just pointing and shooting on the subjects themselves and let them do their thing. So what's the decision behind that?
Well, we're big fans of the observational filmmaking process. So we like people to experience something rather than being told what it's like to experience something. So it was really important to us that we became part of the furniture in the school. So we had a little room in the school and we just watched life as it unfolded. So the film actually plays like a narrative, really, each scene just runs into another and slowly you build up these character arcs.
Yes, I noticed that. And also, with regards to the students themselves, did you have to get permissions from their parents, or just the school's permission would suffice?
No, we did that very carefully. The school board who run the school were very supportive of the project. The headmaster was supportive, and we contacted every parent and asked them if they were happy and signed a release for their children. There were 1 or 2 who were not, and we avoided those children. We left them out of the film reluctantly, but we have to respect what the parents wanted. So we were very careful about making sure, and there was a reason the parents were very happy to agree. They knew that their children were doing well in the school. They knew their children were happy and that their children had developed and grown and blossomed in many ways in the school. So their confidence was in the school, not necessarily in the film. And that's probably why they were so happy to participate.
Well, to piggyback off that, for example, like that girl who was the drummer, it felt like you were trying to build an arc around her somehow, until she kind of succeeds in that skill. So can you explain or talk a bit about coming up with the arcs for the students themselves?
Yeah, I mean, we filmed with a lot of children, and it was really in the edit suite that was where you realized that whether you had a complete story or not, whether you had the full arc or not, because you couldn't be everywhere at any one time. So sometimes you missed little elements, and we didn't ask anyone to reenact anything, or if we missed something we just accepted it and just moved on. So in the edit, Ted and Eliza and Florrie, they sort of bubbled to the surface of the film. And like with Eliza's arc, she was probably the person that we were most worried about because she's the really shy girl who doesn't speak. And had she not, come out of herself at the end of the film, we probably wouldn't have told that story because it would be unfair to suspend a child forever as this kind of very shy child who doesn't speak or express herself. And then with Florrie, she was like the drummer that you referred to. Yes, she came in late. She came in the 3rd term, so we had very little time to get a full arc with her, but she came in with a bang, and she made herself known, and you see how John helps this child who was a model in London come to this school and get down and dirty and just be a kid again for a while.
as an aspiring musician, she can become the next Ringo Starr. It was just quite a skill. Now I gotta ask. I know that you guys are actual real life couple, correct?
Mhm.
So how is that as a filmmaking team, especially when there are disagreements on the set?
It was interesting. Yeah, no, I think we worked well on it. You know, there were times when, you know, we would face situations where even just practical decisions, like we filmed a scene with a teacher and a child, and they both go in different directions, and do we follow the teacher to see how they react next, or do we follow the child to see how they react? And I would go, let's go that way, Neasa, let's go, and we would, but that was very minor. It was
I had the camera.
yeah. I kind of had to follow the camera, yeah. So
Our editor had a bit of fun because she would hear the sort
she'd
of
hear
the back chat on the thing of like, no, I'm going this way. You know?
I mean, the bigger issue was being parents in that situation with two children, where we worked hard and long on this film. We filmed for 2 years in the school, and we were filming 3 or 4 days a week, sometimes till 8 or 9 at night when the children went to bed, and then we'd be up. We would stay overnight in the school, and then we would be there at 7 o'clock when they woke up again, and so that was quite difficult as parents to manage a family life, you know, with making such a long-term film.
I don't know how familiar you are with the education system here in America, but if they see, you know, John and Amanda's teaching methods, they'll be like, whoa, what's going on here? You know, the whole unorthodox rock and roll style and, you know, reading the script themselves. So what are your thoughts about their teaching methods?
Well, they're unusual, and but it works. You know, it really, really works. And I think like they connect on an emotional level with the child, and they don't treat every child the same. You know, they recognize that children are different and that they have different needs, so they kind of shape stuff around that. And I think it's extraordinary. And you know, and I wish more people would do it. You know, because it's not like there isn't one pedagogy that suits all. You know, children are unique, and all they need to do is be given the freedom and the tools to discover who they are. And
I think teachers generally don't have the opportunity to do that because of the rules and regulations and the restrictions within the education system. And I think that might be what you're hinting at. There will be a lot of John and Amandas out there in America, in every country, who would love to practice that kind of teaching, and they haven't got they just can't do it, which is a shame. Teachers have come up to us at Q&As of the film all over the world at the festivals we've attended and said, look, we would love to have the opportunity in our school to teach the way John and Amanda teach, but the restrictions of regulations and state laws, etc., just make it too difficult.
And curriculum, like very heavily weighted curriculum that teachers have to get through.
So this is also about John and Amanda nearing the end of their beloved careers. So talk a bit about, you know, a lot of people, sometimes I talk to them and they're scared of retirement, the idea of like not being able to do what they love anymore. I mean, how do you take that to heart, you as filmmakers, the idea of like, oh man, this is the end?
For us or for John and Amanda?
For John and for yourself as well.
Yeah.
The idea of retirement, is it scary? Is it...
We have a few years yet.
Yeah,
We've got 4 or 5 more films in us.
There you go.
Yeah, but for John and Amanda, they will never retire. I mean, there's a poignancy about that. That has been their life.
I don't think they can.
They don't. There's nothing. There's nowhere to go really after. So, you know, John said once that, you know, the only way you'll get me out of here is in a box, and he's so committed to the school and he loves the kids. So, you know, yes, they're getting older, obviously, and they're physically they'll find it more difficult, but they're just so involved, and so they love it so much. So I don't think retirement's an issue.
Yeah, I mean, that's how the film opens. They're discussing about like how, that she got the okay from the doctor again, and as long as she keeps getting the okay, and as long as she's still interesting to the children, and as long as she can climb the stairs, that's it. You know, there's nothing else that she'd rather be doing in the world than teaching in the schools. So that's kind of cool, isn't it? That somebody loves their job that much. Yeah, you know, that's their reality. Yeah. So it's great. Lucky children, lucky them. You know.
Thank you so much. Wonderful documentary.
Thank you.
School Life in theaters, September 8th.
Thank you.
Let's rock this.